of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 2. This particular phone was launched in Kenya approximately possibly even 3 months ago by Xiaomi, who got into a partnership with a distributor in South Africa. They're basically rolling out into markets like Nigeria and Kenya and so forth. Finally bringing Xiaomi to the African continent, which in my opinion has been long overdue, but really excited because these are phones that are generally considered to be quite affordable, but also of a very high quality. So let's just get right into it, and I'll be able to give you a quick rundown of what the unboxing of this particular phone looked like. So the particular model of the Xiaomi Note 2 or Redmi Note 2 that I had was the 16GB. It actually does also come in a Pro version that has 32 gigs as well. And this particular model came with 2 gigs of RAM, which I think is fairly modest, given that 3 and 4GB are sort of becoming the standard. But then again, this phone was actually launched as early as August 2015, so it's almost been out for a year in some markets, and only now just coming to Kenya and most of Africa. It also features a 32 gigabyte micro SD slot, or rather up to 32 gigabytes, which means if you want to store more media and sort of that stuff, then you can actually install one of these. So out of the box, you will find the phone, you'll find the removable battery, you will find the charging cable, and you will also find the actual charger. I was a little bit disappointed that there was no headphones included, but more often than not these days you find that that's something that many of the OEMs supplying these phones do not have the headphones anymore. This particular model of the Redmi Note 2 is actually a dual SIM, which means that you can have 2 SIMs in the phone, but also it has dual standby. And I think the dual standby feature basically means that when you're making a call, the other SIM goes dead until such time you actually stop making the call. Not a major inconvenience, since most dual SIM phones in this market actually work like that, as opposed to the active state, which means both SIMs actually can run concurrently. Here's a close-up, just showing the micro SD slot and the 2 SIM slots as well, which you're actually able to run on the Redmi Note 2. What was really impressive is that the battery that comes with this phone is a 3020, or rather 3020 milliamp hour battery. What that basically means is that it's huge, and that should take you through an entire day comfortably without needing to recharge. So that's impressive. I think the battery life, or the battery capacity on this phone is really good. Here we have a close-up of the camera and also the LED flash. The Redmi Note 2 has pretty interesting specifications. In particular, the back-facing camera is a 30 megapixel camera, which I think is pretty decent, and it's also able to shoot 1080p video, which is somewhat disappointing because I think a phone like this possibly should have come with 4K, but then again, it is almost a year old, and I guess we can let that slide. On the front side of the camera, we have a 5 megapixel camera, and also the camera impressively is able to do 720p video. So if you want to shoot videos of yourself and stuff, that's pretty decent resolution for front-facing camera. In terms of sort of the profile, the side profile, it looks fairly standard in terms of the width. It isn't superbly thin, it's fairly normal in terms of what you'd find on a typical smartphone today. It also comes with the MIUI 7 Android OS sort of overlay, so basically you don't get stock Android with this. Xiaomi has developed their own Android skin, so to speak, and to be quite honest, turning it up and sort of using the phone, it actually looks and works quite well. Again, here we have a shot of the top of the phone where you can connect your headphone jacks and so forth. what actually appears to be, I think, a infrared port of some kind. So I think this phone actually does let you connect wirelessly, I think over infrared, but I'm going to check that out when I get into the full review. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 2 comes with a 5.5-inch display, which looks quite crisp and vivid straight out of the box. It's actually a 1080p display as well, meaning it's an HD high quality screen. I didn't actually get to play any music on the phone because I was just unboxing it, but looking at the grills on the back speaker, it actually looks quite formidable, and I think over the next week or so, when I put this phone through its paces, I'll get to hear how good the sound is. And then the other really cool thing about this phone is that it comes with LTE 4G, increasingly common in the phones we're finding in Kenya. That means the internet speeds are really fast, especially if you're connected to the Safaricom network, which currently is the only 4G network in the country. The Redmi Note 2 is running Android Lollipop version 5.0, which is really somewhat old at this point, since we now have Marshmallow being the sort of more common OS coming out with the new devices. That's a little bit disappointing, but it's not a deal breaker. I think that's all right. We still get a decent phone running a decent version of Android. Another thing that I picked up is that they really have some really nice themes on this particular device, stuff that you normally don't see on some of the Android devices, and in fact they do take it a step further. So here you actually have customizable themes, and I didn't quite get into it, but you do need to actually set up an account with Xiaomi, so they have a separate account in order for you to access some of these features, which I think over the next week or so I'll get a chance to see the sort of different themes that are available. So last but not least, the retail price. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 2 is currently retailing in Kenya for a price of 21,999 shillings, which I think is fairly decent given the quality of this device. It's a Xiaomi. These are considered to be probably some of the best Android phones you can buy in the world, and therefore it looks like extremely good value. Very much for watching the review, or rather the unboxing of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 2, and I'm looking forward to posting a full review up on my blog, showing exactly how it worked over the course of about a week or so. Thank you.